Yo, Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are back with our guy Friendly Jordies, talking about the housing crisis in Australia. Are they doomed? I watched a couple videos on the housing crisis and they didn't sound good. The prices for housing sounded ridiculous, and I understand why it has to be this way because there's more demand than supply. Before we dive in, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Jordies, what we got?
All right, since my patrons asked for it, yes, if you join my Patreon, you can vote for what you want us to make videos on. Here's a video on the housing crisis. Yeah, it was pretty shit having my house set on fire, thanks for asking. I wouldn't categorize it as a crisis though, it's more of just a terrible act of revenge by... Oh, what? You wanted a video on Australia's housing crisis, not my personal housing crisis, you selfish fucks. Well, to give it back to me for a second, as I found out recently, it is bloody hard to get a rental in Australia, and when you do manage to find one, it's always on terms like this. All right, 7 square metres, 2-week term, $20,000 bond. You'll be bunking with a 15-year-old Dagestani UFC fighter because the landlord has hopes and dreams of training him into a champion one day. So you'll be doubling up as a punching bag every second day. There's not enough room for you and the punching bag. Fair? Can't believe I applied for...
There's not enough room for you and the punching bag.
That and still got turned down. I mean, you guys think you have a rental crisis. Imagine trying to apply for a house with that as your resume. I really didn't know how good I had it with my past landlord, who, by the way, is an absolute legend. Too bad I fucked it up by pissing off. And if you listen to corporate media, the one reason they give to explain this phenomenon over and over and over again is lack of supply. We need to let property developers into every primary school oval so they can build this in the middle of it. Well, you think the housing crisis is caused by the same factors that make Logan Paul and KSI's drink sell for $30? Well, maybe actually if Logan Paul and KSI are deliberately keeping supply low to push up prices, which, knowing Logan Paul, is kind of likely. By the way, Logan, if you're watching, that's a complete joke. I'm a maverick. Can you please let me on your podcast? I'm cool. I just want to ask you about your hidden superpower. You know, how your brain damage got rid of your ability to feel empathy. Hashtag Team Maverick.
His ability to feel... Really? I don't watch too much Logan Paul, so I don't know. He has a brain damage affected his ability to feel empathy.
On census night, 2021, there were 1 million empty homes. Admittedly, this was in the middle of the Delta lockdown in New South Wales and hard international border closure, but still, that's 10% of homes in Australia.
Dang.
But apparently, the only answer to solving our housing crisis is rezoning everything and building more, which, sure, I don't dispute that building more should be an aspect to the solution, but if your only answer to the housing crisis relies on having the most glowing, sycophantic, make-believe fairy tale view of perhaps the worst people in society, well, apart from YouTubers, obviously, developers, then you probably work in the Australian press. Oh yeah, we're building this shit as fast as we can. There's just so much red tape, like, I didn't know you're not allowed to build in national parks. I mean, I did it anyway, but I had to fill out a form, so... Anyway, that's why we've got no choice. We're going to have to increase your rent to 100%. If a developer has to choose between reducing supply and making more money or increasing supply and losing money, what do you think this guy is going to choose?
I'm going to say reducing supply, making more money. That's what I think he's gonna choose. If I had to take a wild guess, shot in the dark.
Isn't it convenient that the only possible problem causing our housing crisis that ever gets floated is a lack of new houses being built? The only problem that has a solution that involves the elite making money. How's that? Read even a cursory amount of research, and the notion that is propagated by property peak bodies and developers that just building more houses, that's going to solve the housing crisis. It's dispelled quicker than, I don't know, Logan Paul's empathy blocking nerves kicking in. Logan Paul's new prime vitamin range, empathy blockers. Scare your brother today. What would Logan do? Oh, that's right, I had his new range of empathy blockers. Now I can't ask that question. Anyway, NGO Prosper Australia has done recent research into this, analysing multiple greenfields developments, and it found that, surprise, surprise, developers deliberately adopt stage-released models of new developments, drip-feeding what is for sale, quote, crafted to avoid supply-led price declines.
Wow.
And the quote, after an average 9.5 years of production time, these master planned communities, or MPCs, still held 76.2% of their land bank vacant across all forms of permitted housing. So let me just put this on the records, guys. If you think that MPCs are going to solve it, you're an NPC. Ooh.
So they have the land in order to build more housing, but they choose not to because if they put more supply, then their demand is going to lessen, which means prices are going to drop down, which means less money in their pockets. But they'll be able to put families in homes and make rent affordable for people. Money really makes you do terrible stuff, bro. It really makes you do terrible stuff.
Ooh, I'm sure Sandra Sully knows what that is. Anyway, isn't it obvious? It still astounds me that developers are portrayed in this same way as charities. Fuck! Imagine if the press treated other industries as well as they do developers. With diamond scarcity hitting the roof, 10 investment analyst General Powerbottom is calling for the rebels to push past the Northern River and take the capital and the riches that come with it. We cannot dig up enough diamonds to keep up with demand. There are a lot of Tesla's real estate agents getting married this year. We have to increase the supply. Real estate in this country does share a lot of parallels with blood diamonds. You deliberately restrict supply, you artificially inflate the value of your property portfolio, giving you more leverage to allow you to borrow more from the bank for future developments, which are now easier to get through because everyone's going on about a lack of supply. Rinse and repeat. Except the whole bank thing. With blood diamonds, you just buy more guns. But actually, it is a pretty...
With blood diamonds, you just buy more guns.
Shit analogy, but my main point stands. So, if just letting developers run Australia isn't going to solve our housing crisis, what is? Well, the question should be what was, and the answer was Bill Shorten. As always, not entirely, but fuck, it was a good start. If he was elected in 2019, the policies he was bringing to the table would have done a lot to stabilise housing prices. Instead, we got the political equivalent of a filthy one-night stand with said real estate agents. Yeah, fuck yeah, no negative gearing reforms. And if you want to keep your franking credits, you fucking well keep them, you dirty bitch.
Oh my God!
Would you be able to order me an Uber home? Oh, you can't? Yeah, no, that's alright. I'll just hang around for a bit. To understand the root of Australia's housing problems, you got to understand the man that is also the root of almost all of Australia's other problems. A man that has such a funny voice that everything he does is forgivable. Former Australian Prime Minister John Howard. Before him, fuck, I'm such a millennial, but like, everything was better in the 80s. The Hawke government introduced the capital gains tax, a tax which treats profit on investments such as houses as taxable income. It's a pretty sensible tax, as it's not taxing hard work or innovations that actually add value to the economy. It's just modestly taxing speculation. Then in 1999, John Howard's Liberal government halved this tax for people that held their asset for longer than a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really rewarding long-term thinkers there. A year, with 70% of the benefit of this change going to the top 10% of income earners. And as
Don't you? I mean, the rich they figure out ways to continually get richer while the poor stay poor or get poorer. But yeah, the rich are going to find a way. You know what I'm saying? It's like they look out for each other. It's like a club that you just not invited to unless your pocketbook look a certain way. And once you're in the club, it's like, let's F over the rest of the world. Let's F over the rest of the country. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep all this money in our pockets.
As you can see from this graph here, there's quite a jump in housing prices that coincides with this tax cut. Presumably from all the blood diver buying real estate agents who realise, I could just second mortgage and sell it on in a year. Pay fuck all tax. What a fucking con. Also, since Howard's capital gains tax change, debt as a proportion of household income doubled. Bill Shorten came to
That's
both the
crazy.
2016 and 2019
Crazy.
elections, planning on reversing Howard's capital gains tax discount, which would have given the budget bottom line billions more every year and, make houses less of an abstract asset to speculate on and more of a thing that it used to be, which was something to keep rain off you. Which at the time, our then Prime Minister, this French aristocrat displaced in time, now turned woke, enlightened hippie fisherman Malcolm Turnbull, viciously campaigned against these changes and instead, parroting this as the cause of Australia's housing woes, save the line, Bart. Lack of supply. Oh, and as always when it comes to Malcolm, it's somehow the union's fault too. And you probably remember this, Morrison did the same thing in the 2019 election, with many in the commentariat crediting his opposition to Labor's changes as the reason for his quote-unquote miracle. How Christ-like, eh?
I'm gonna let you give even less to the poor. I bet you like that, don't you, you dirty fuckers?
It's it, obviously. There's been really no appetite
I bet you like that, don't you?
to address this issue apart from the Liberal Party itself. In 2021, the New South Wales Liberal government realised, our federal counterparts have spent the last 20 years doing everything in their power to cause a housing crisis, and now we're going to have to deal with it. So they put in a submission to the federal government saying this 50% capital gains tax discount, quote, skews the incentives towards the purchases of properties for investment purposes. These tax benefits of property investment have contributed to the growing housing affordability issue. While the combined effect is likely to be a moderate increase in house prices, the most significant impact is the displacement of owner-occupiers, including first home buyers, from home ownership by tax-advantaged investors, predominantly those already on higher incomes. How cynical of Turnbull and Morrison. They ran such insane, blatant electioneering policy that it was opposed by those in their own party that had to deal with the consequences. By some, I might add, if we're going to use stupid political binaries, to the right of them. The New South Wales Liberal Party, the party of monopolist rent seekers who create no economic value, thought, even this is a bridge too far for us. Everyone thinks of the coalition as the conservative political movement in Australia, but I've rejected this notion time and time again. They are the party of postmodernists that would put even the Frenchest wankers to shame. Instead of thinking of buildings as buildings and cars as cars, a company that provides a service is a company that provides a service. They think of all of these things as les assets. Le number of mots. They've been content with gated cities sitting empty as masses clamour at the gates wanting shelter, opining. Oh, well, isn't it obvious? It's demand making these houses inaccessible. Listen to the clamouring. Clearly we just need to increase supply to reduce demand. Sure, you can shit on crypto and NFTs for providing no economic value, but I think they're amazing as they've taken the economic vision of the 1980s Reaganism movement to its rational conclusion. Nothing has a use, so...
So I mean, they're capable of fixing this crisis, but this crisis is good for the top guys that are at the top of it, making all the money from it. So why would they want this crisis to be fixed if they can keep the line in their pockets?
She rises.
It's like that Burt Bacharach song.
A chair is still a chair, even when there's no one sitting there. But a chair is not a house.
What?
And a house is not a home.
It's an asset to speculate on. Bill Shorten was also planning on grandfathering out negative gearing, another tax concession to housing investors that allows investors to claim the difference between their rental income and mortgage repayments against their income tax, i.e. incentivising rent seeking. Bill Shorten was going to fix that. But because Australia chose Morrison in that faithful 2019 eve, the political appetite for fixing any of these tax concessions is not like Albanese's actual appetite. It's shrunk. Just think of it this way, right? Like, you know how the Liberals really want to fuck with Medicare, but if they touch it, they know they're going to get booted out. That's housing with Labor. They went to 2 elections trying to do something about it and got beaten back twice because Middle Australia is this middle bar in the pyramid scheme. Half the population like the idea that theoretically, according to domain.com, they're a multi-millionaire. And if you touch that postmodernist idea in people's heads, so this is what's really gone wrong with our universities. I swear to God, it's like, this is not an apple and this is not a government, no? After multiple election cycles of the press, as always, running the scare campaign of the Liberal Party under the guise of news.
God,
now all of a
Dave.
sudden, now that we've got a new government, no, there's a housing crisis. It just popped out of nowhere. I guess the only solution is to put more of the world's diamond supply into the hands of the De Beers.
A housing crisis just popped out of nowhere. We didn't see this coming. It just happened. It just happened to happen, coincidentally.
No, if the press really wanted something to be done, how about instead of priming the public for the off-the-plan ads coming after the news bulletin, get them to understand you're gonna have to give up on these tax concessions at some point. They don't even help you, as guess what? If your house is worth $2 million and you sell it, you're gonna have to buy another house that's also worth $2 million. But by the time you do the paperwork, you'll be down $500,000 as it'll be worth 2.5 fucking million. Oh, fuck. They figured out my Harley coin scam. What do I do, Logan? Just drink Prime, bro. Can't feel anything. So yeah, there's your video on the housing crisis. Patreon, suck shit, nothing can be done about it. Bill Shorten really gets his Ray Patterson moment.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh. You know, I'm not much on speeches, but it's
Oh my
so
God.
gratifying to leave you wallowing in the mess you've made. You're screwed. Thank you. Bye.
He's right. He ain't much on speeches.
Nah, don't worry, this video was really quite federally focused, so if you like this video, I'll eventually do one on what the states and the Glorious People's Republic can do and are doing to address this issue. And if you didn't like this video, join my Patreon so you can vote for me making videos on not as boring subjects, such as what's going on with iDubbbz and Anissa. Friendly Geordies investigate. But in the meantime, you're stuck with no solutions but to come see my live show. Temporary housing, motherfuckers. Like and subscribe.
That's all we got for this one. Always love my guy, Friendly Jordies. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon, drop it in the comment section or in the description section. There's your premium request link. It's your boy D Neal. Out.